Welcome to episode 312 of the Center Ring Esports podcast presented by Alt. This is going to be the best episode ever. We have the VTC Masters finally kicking off, so we're going to do a quick preview on that. And no big drama or anything broke out there, so I'm sure it'll be a pretty boring conversation, if you ask me. Also, we are going to replay our interview that we were on with our good friend Jay, formerly of Team Envy, Dallas Fuel, Dallas Empire. He had us on his show a couple weeks ago, so we were going to replay that interview on our show for listeners that weren't able to attend live. And a little bit of e-news to get to as well. But before we get to any of that, let me tell you about the show sponsor in Alt Esports. You can check them out, altesports.com. They are the top brand apparel that esports and beyond has to offer. Very comfy, very affordable, very stylish apparel that they have. You can get yourself a 101 Burglars hoodie, 100% original idea by your very own TCR. Pick up a E United. You can pick up a Sentinels apparel if you wanted to rep them as a team, not necessarily one player in general, but maybe just the team. You can also pick yourself up some Overwatch League, as Overwatch League is getting ramped up. They're starting to do a little scrims here and there. So pick yourself up some Overwatch League apparel as well. Do that, altesports.com.
This is Sinatraa, and you are listening to The Center Ring.
Okay, so let's start.
Hello, everybody. Hello and welcome. Welcome back to another edition of The Center Ring, a.k.a. TCR, a.k.a. your favorite esports podcast, presented by Alt. Episode 312 coming to you live and or pre-recorded from an undisclosed location. The date, March 10th, 2021. The time, 9:07 p.m. Central Time. And I think do we fall back this weekend? We do. No, we spring forward. We spring forward this weekend. Again, friendly reminder, folks, set your clocks. This is the bad one. You lose an hour of sleep. Check us out on Twitter, at The Center Ring. Join our Discord. Become a Patreon. All that fun stuff. We'd appreciate it. My name is Tim. I will be your captain for this journey into esports, and alongside me, as always, is my best friend, my brown friend. My friend who's wearing a button-up shirt and a watch past 9 p.m. Are you like a CEO? Like, it's a nooch. What's up?
I just thought I would dress up for the show for a change.
I appreciate it.
I haven't done it before, might as well do it today.
I appreciate it.
Is the intro always off the cuff? Like, or do you ever have anything planned?
It's all off the cuff. I don't do
That's
scripts.
where the radio background kicks in,
Yes. Yes. Yep.
Like, if you don't have a word in place, you just have to throw one in that kind of works.
Boom, 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 boom. That's,
Okay. It's very professional of you.
Thank you. This is multiple reasons on why I do things the way I do things, Anuj. But ultimately, it's because I'm a lazy procrastinator. And I know if I had to sit here and write a script, first off, you've seen me try to read off scripts, and I get tongue-tied even more than if I was just ad-libbing the whole thing. And furthermore, I don't like editing things. And so if you're going for perfection, you're going to have to like sit there, and then you end up being like one of those YouTube channels that have like, I call it YouTube editing, where it's just jump cut after jump cut after jump cut of them just
like every half second.
Yes. And it's just like, dude, could you not put one sentence together without having to edit something out of it? It's okay to just say, or or stutter. It's a normal human conversation. I don't need perfection in my life. So, I just ad-lib it all. Some people can give me some notes if you want me to work around, but it's an underrated skill. everyone thinks they can do their own esports podcast, but until you realize, like, oh, you kind of shoot from the hip most of the time. Let's talk some esports, as this is a esports podcast, Anuj. We have the Valorant Champions Tour Masters tomorrow. So by the time people are listening to this, the first matches may have kicked off. I believe they start 2 p.m. our time. So early afternoon, you're going to get the first matches. Envy and Gen G, I believe, are the ones who kick it off. Now, don't let this fool you, because even though this is only an 8-team tournament, this goes on for 2 weeks, or I guess a week and a half.
That's kind of annoying part of the tournament, right? If you're starting it on a Thursday for an 8-team tournament, like we can get through this by then.
Somehow they're dragging this on till the 21st.
Like, I just want to see it all flow like you would see like any kind of major championship in its final round, I guess you could say, right? Like, it's different when it's the early rounds and they're spreading them out just to have content. But like, I kind of want to see them run through this and get it going. But hey, gives us a couple things to talk about. You break down the matchups a little bit more, and for some of these teams, they're going to need the extra practice now. There's some teams out there that might need a little extra time if they advance.
Yeah. So this is a double elimination tournament. So that's one note there, which is partially the reason for the extended time period, right? If everything's going to the lower bracket and everything there, which I'm always a fan. Look, some people don't like the double elimination. I love it because I love the comeback story, for a team to come through and possibly get to the grand finals from a team that lost in the first round. Love it. So that being said, teams like Sentinels are probably happy at this point because they're a little bit more time to practice. Tim, why are Sentinels happy? Why would they have to practice, you ask? Well, because last night, the news broke on Twitter and caught wildfire across all of esports. It was trending on Twitter. It was such big news that Sinatraa, Valorant professional for the Sentinels, has been accused of sexual assault by his ex-girlfriend. Like a 9-page document she posted with audio, screenshots. Look, I'll spare you the audio. Anuj, we're busy men. We have family. We have children. We have full-time jobs. Listening to Sinatraa having sex was not the way I wanted to spend my Tuesday night.
No. I clicked on the audio link, kind of knowing what I was getting into, and then I heard it, and I was like, oh.
I immediately regret this.
I could have just read the clip notes on that one.
Yeah, it's like, here's a clip of the audio of him, like, having sex, and I was like, okay, I got it, and then I was like, but the curiosity in me clicked it, and I was like, yeah. I could have gone my entire life.
No, it got me too, and all I was thinking about is that I met him in person, and now I also know his like O-face sound. Like that's not what I needed for.
I mean, all things considered, he's laughed at our jokes. He's said our names before, and now we've heard him have sex. All things considered, we could be considered like best friends. Sexual assault aside,
I don't know if you want that title right now.
Sexual assault aside, I just know more of Sinatraa now than I ever wanted to. And that's thanks to an audio clip.
Thanks to a 9-page document with a lot of damning evidence, right?
Yeah.
Accusations that are made against him, obviously for sexual assault, mainly tied to like rape within the relationship, right? Like that's kind of the easiest way to say it. And so they were a couple, they were dating for a long time. I say a long time, they were dating. And when no means no anytime, it doesn't matter if that's your girlfriend, your wife, somebody you just met, like it kind of all applies, right? And so for him, I mean, this is not going to just go away, like I wonder, it took a while for the team to make a statement, right? And maybe they were waiting on Riot to say something. And
yeah, I mean, I think people, I'll give the team the benefit of the doubt because, like I said, it broke last night, right? And obviously I saw some people say like, well, maybe Sinatraa is sleeping. Maybe he doesn't know this is out there. trust me, he's not sleeping. It's like 9 p.m., okay? Name one professional gamer that goes to bed at 9 p.m., okay? And Anuj, can you promise me one thing? If ever at 9 p.m. you think I'm sleeping and a story breaks out that a 9-page document with audio comes out that I sexually assaulted someone, I want you to call me. Like, could you
your phone would be blowing up enough to where you would wake up. I can't imagine.
That's what I'm saying. Like, people are like, oh, well, maybe Sinatraa just doesn't know, so he is innocent.
A live update on the show.
Oh.
Straight from Sinatra's Twitter.
Oh.
He did post an update today. I'm going to go ahead and just read that here. It's a short twit longer. It's clear from Cleo's recent post that she recalls our relationship differently than I do. What we do agree on is that it was unhealthy for the both of us. I apologize to Cleo and regret how things ended, but I never assaulted her in any way. I am fully cooperating with the investigations and providing the full audio and video clips Cleo referenced in her post. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't...
So that was just posted 3 minutes ago.
That
was posted 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, just posted. That doesn't say... That's a very...
It's a very... straightforward, admitting no guilt type of thing. So this is the thing.
Look, he can't. I shouldn't say he can't. It's unlikely that he throws himself under the bus in this situation because we don't know what other evidence is out there. The audio clip, although that's there, I don't know if that's really enough to say that he assaulted her. I'm not saying he didn't. I'm just saying in the court of law, right? In the court of public opinion, that's always going to be rough.
Right. So this is, and I wanted to say this too, just to kind of give a premise of my take on this. In the court of law, I don't know what's going to happen because I don't know what a lawyer can twist and turn and skew what it looks like, especially when they're in a relationship, right? Trust me, I know lawyers, and I've talked to lawyers about certain things. You'd be amazed on how some of their opinions are so different than what a normal person's way of thinking is. Infuriatingly different to where they just kind of ignore that common sense that says something's not right. No. A lawyer's job is to make things muddy, right? As that one lawyer in that one terrible show on HBO said, Anuj.
Sure.
No. What's the name of that show?
Lawyer on HBO.
No. The one that we both watched and we both said sucked. The
Undoings?
The Undoing. That's what it's called. Yes.
Okay.
The lawyer said, my job is not to prove you innocent, it's to make it look muddy. So
yeah,
very
on
true.
That side, right? On that side of the defense.
And that's where I think it's true. Now, that being said, in the court of public opinion, Sinatraa is dead. I don't see how you come back from this, even from an investigation, even if their investigation shows, okay, yeah, everything was peachy clean. From a public standpoint, I don't see how Sentinels can keep him. Right now, he is suspended, so he's not playing in this event because he's under investigation by the team and by Riot. So just by policy, you suspend him. I know some people are saying, well, why not just let him play? That's just not how that works. You don't.
You don't want that around your event.
No.
It doesn't matter who it is.
Look, if someone's
the best players in the game.
Yeah, if someone's being investigated for murder, the courts aren't just going to allow them to go do whatever they want, right? You're suspended into house arrest or whatever. This is the same thing. But I don't see how, from a public opinion wise, legal side of it, I'll let the legal side figure itself out, right? We've seen these happen where Nairo on the Smash side, right? Legally, that got settled. Now, as far as public opinion and how people still view it, that's one thing, but legally, it's been settled. And, as far as I know, no one went to jail for what happened on that side of the Smash scene. Very similar to this. I don't know how the court just views it as okay, well, yes, you're in a relationship. Anuj, like you said, if the one piece of that audio is all she's got, it's
there's some text messages and stuff. Like I said, there's some damning stuff against him.
That's what I'm saying. From the court of public opinion,
she's got enough there to make you be okay, this is a legitimate accusation that she's making. There's some where if they just say like, "Oh, hey, this happened to me," I don't like bandwagoning that quickly to be like, "Oh, he or she definitely did what they're being accused of." In this case, it is very detailed. It does make you believe, like you mentioned. I don't know how he necessarily comes back from this. I think that's going to be very tough to do. I think in a legal manner, if he is found, if this even goes to a legal thing, okay, this might just be an accusation and she doesn't want to pursue it any further, but like, hey, I want people to know,
True.
type thing, right? Like this could be this is my story, get it out there, and then just let it be known. But if it, all things, yeah, I hate to say this, they do, like people tend to move on, and that's kind of sad to say. Like there'll be another big story that comes out of another person that's accused of something that kind of takes the headlines, and people are looking for change on a bigger scale. But like from an individual perspective, I think he'll like probably bounce back, and if he gets released from this, in the sense, like I think we would see him again in the pro scene if he chose to do that. Again, if this goes legal, different story, but if it stays the way it is, like it wouldn't surprise me if he was given some sort of second chance somewhere. I don't know if it'll be on this roster. I also wouldn't be that shocked if Sentinels, managed to find a way to keep. Look, Tyreek Hill was playing in the freaking Super Bowl, being cheered by millions of people, and the dude's brutally beat women several times, including in college. He broke his like 1-year-old's arm, or accused of it, and his like kid that barely speaks said dad did it, type thing. Now from a legal standpoint, they were able to settle because he has millions of dollars, right? And nobody
Yeah.
wants to give up all of that. Not everyone is willing to give up all of that, I should say. And so like people are willing to move on, right? Like it happens, unfortunately. And I wouldn't be surprised if Sentinels was like, look, we're not like the biggest org either, right?
Right.
And we're number one in a massive game that is eventually going to turn into a riot league where we need to find our way in. And how could they say no to the team that's been number one since the game launched, type thing? Like there's a lot invested for them in this team staying great. And Sinatra's a really freaking big piece of that. Like he is the star player on that team. I don't even know, they haven't announced who their fifth is that they're going to pick up, but it's going to be really interesting to see like how this dynamic works without somebody is like, he's like lethal in the game. Like he is really, really good. And so top 5 player for sure. And he's very consistent. He's coming from a background of winning championships from Overwatch, being MVP, like all of that stuff. Like he's just proven to be, he's a good gamer, know?
And we've like you said too, with the football reference, there is nothing more, there's no like scene willing to forget, not necessarily forgive, but just in general forget, than sports. And I lump esports with that. So you can look at a lot of the pros. I mean, hell, again, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but the whole FaZe Clan organization, like if you really want to judge something to the point of like you probably shouldn't be a thing, FaZe Clan is that thing. And yet, look at them. They're a top, if not the top esports org out there. So I do agree that people do forget, not necessarily forgive. I think also if they do settle this out of court, people tend to, for whatever reason, think settlement means innocent. That doesn't necessarily, it's not a 1-for-1. Like if they settle, doesn't mean, Sinatraa is innocent of all of this. It just means that enough money was given to have her forget about it, right? So there's that. Now, it doesn't defeat, like I said, from a public perception, or at least in my opinion, everyone kind of had their opinion on Sinatraa to begin with. Like he was kind of already toxic, but this also just kind of puts the icing on the cake that like the dude is a weirdo and not that nice of a person. Like take the sexual assault stuff out of it, right? It was like he was also like very controlling in her messages, showing screenshots of like him tracking her on her phone to see where she was at, getting upset because she's tweeting about a different team a different team that he wasn't on, and things like it's very controlling in that regards. And like, I don't know.
You're seeing the true colors, right? Like that's why it's hard for me to like. You don't idolize these people. You respect
Right.
them as gamers, and like if they do stuff that deserves to be idolized outside of the game, sure. But most of what you're cheering for is like a facade, right? Like you don't know what these guys are really like. It's funny that you mentioned FaZe because one of our lovely listeners actually sent me some stuff on FaZe Apex, like some tweets that he had from back in the day that are resurfacing where he's posting some like racist shit on there, and it's stuff that he didn't delete, and it was back from 2012. But it's like these are who some of these people are. Some of these people that you idolize, unfortunately, are not like great people. For Sinatraa, verdict doesn't look good, right? Like he's gonna have to rehabilitate, his persona quite a bit to come back from this. But I don't think it's impossible, I guess is what I'm saying. Like I wouldn't be shocked if he found a way to do so. That's usually what happens with talented people, right? Unless there's like some super damning evidence to pin you down. Think Ray Rice again, kind of to use sports as the example, where it's like a video of him beating the crap out of his girlfriend in the elevator. That visually was hard to get out of people's head. And we never saw Ray Rice again, right? Like he never got another chance. But if it's just accusations and the most evidence we have is like a short sex scene from both of them where it is difficult, in my opinion, to tell that, she is telling him like, no, don't do this. She is saying the word no, but like, I don't know that to me, that's tough. That's like tough to be like, she's definitely telling him like no in that situation. And so I don't know. I mean, for me, it's like, I hate to see this come up at any time. You hate to see it before, such a big event, but I think the right decision was made to bench him for now and maybe see where this goes and make a decision afterwards. But look, everybody's talking about it. Like everybody is talking about it. Hell, his old Overwatch team came out and made a post, saying like, hey, we don't support this kind of behavior, even though he's not part of our organization anymore. I thought that was a little like, they could have just made a reference to like, we support victims of sexual harassment and this and that, but it was very like
I think it just goes to show though, like for people who are trying to cast Sinatraa aside as just, oh, he's just another pro, like this dude is on another level when it comes to being a pro. I mean, you got to think he was the face of the Overwatch League for, his entire time there, going on talk shows. Like a lot of people's introduction to esports was him on a night talk show talking about the Overwatch League and esports to show it off, right? And so now that you kind of have this poster boy for, what was for Overwatch and just esports in general, and now it's like this is getting tossed out there. It does affect more than just Sentinels, Valorant. Like he kind of transcends to others. Also, former Timmy winner. I think he won Rookie of the Year for the first Timmys. So there's that. Don't know if we need to make a statement, but
Overwatch is refunding people that bought his like unique skin or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they're issuing refunds if anybody wants a refund on those.
Interesting. Do you get to keep the skin?
Probably not if you refund it, would be my guess. If I have the skin, I'm probably keeping it as like something that maybe sells for a lot. Do
I keep the skin to because I'm a skin whore in video games, or do I stick with my morals and refund it? Or do you keep the skin, wait till it's a collectible account because you have his skin, and then
you do and sell it,
resell that bitch on eBay for like $500 because you have the Sinatraa skin? That's the play. That's what you do. Because you know what? That's just how it works. Profit, right? Okay, so enough about that. That's out of our hands, Anuj, right? Right, the right decision was made by Sentinels and for Riot, right? They're going to do the investigation. We will see what comes of it. Now, for Sinatraa, the one positive note here is if Riot is investigating for sexual assault, he's probably looking pretty good because Riot doesn't even know what sexual assault is. Oh, this looks pretty good to me. Nothing to see here, folks. Let's move on.
There goes our invite to any Riot event.
If Riot's investigating you for sexual assault, you got nothing to worry about. Nothing. But in all seriousness, no, right decision. And we'll just, it's kind of one of those wait and see, you know, if nothing comes from it, does he even go back on the team, right? Does he decide to take a break? Who knows? Who knows where this goes? Will we forget about it in 4 days? You never know with esports. Like you said, the next big story comes up, everyone moves on. So it's
like when there was that train of sexual assaults that came out, right? Like I think at the beginning of last year, maybe end of
towards.
I don't know. There was a lot. There was like a ton that came out, and then
Yeah.
the Smash Scene stuff happened. Like everybody, and then the Sky Williams stuff happened. Like everybody just kind of moved to the next big story. And I'm not saying that those victims have been forgotten about, but it just there was other stories that started trending, and people caught on to that, and it was like the crowd just moved with the flow, and then no major changes made within esports. Like I didn't hear TOs come out and really nobody really there wasn't much done. I don't know what could be done, but it would have been nice to at least see like an effort put out by
a lot of hashtags. People did a lot of different hashtags. A lot of orgs made the dramatic statement post where all they post is a background with some words on it. I love those. I love statement posts because you see them and you know something happened.
Yeah. No, right.
You see an org make a statement post and you're like, whew, someone said they did something they weren't supposed to. So I don't want to be a negative Nancy Anuj. I don't want to do that. But you might be right. You might be right. So
on to the matches.
Yes,
Tim.
on to the actual esports side of things, because I know that's going to be somewhat the talk of the town now is the Sentinels matchups. They are going against Luminosity with their first round matchups, which I guess if you were having, a sub on your team, not the worst team to pick up, even though Luminosity is still a good team. I would think maybe Sentinels could still squeak by, especially if, who knows. I really want it to be Tarek. I know he's trolling us on Twitter, but man, I want it to be Tarek.
That would be incredible. No, not happening. It's not going to be Tarek.
I know, but I really want it to be.
It'll be interesting to see who they pick up as the fifth, but you're right. Like if you're going to have one of these teams that you're going up against right now with a new stand-in, like Luminosity would probably be the one. Like you said, they've been playing really well. They pulled off some wins that we didn't expect them to get, and it's just because of the amount of turnover that they've had on that roster, right? So it's not like that roster has been around forever either. So I think Sentinels is probably still in a comfortable position to take that first round game. I think where they falter would be in their next round. I think most likely going up against 100 Thieves, assuming they beat Immortals. If that were to happen, I think 100 Thieves is sitting there like, look, I hate that it's going to be this way, but y'all are not going to be the same without Sinatraa. Like, it's just the way it is, right? Like, there's no way.
Eventually, they will hit a wall. Like, if it's not Luminosity, it's just, and it's not even the fact that it's Sinatra's gone. It's the fact that, I think about, like, you are Sentinels, you have a sub within 48 hours of one of the biggest tournaments in Valorant history at the moment. And it's not even because, like, oh, your fifth got sick or something. Like, it is for, like, a huge implication that it's not just your teammate, that's your buddy, right? Like, to them, Sinatraa was a friend that they joked around and hung out with, and now this is going on. Mentally, I don't see how they get past. You might be able to get past one. I don't see how they get very far, though.
Yeah, no, this is like the last thing you want to be thinking about right before a big matchup, right? Like, just to not have your mind focused on the game. There's no way anybody on that team does. Like, it's just
none. This
is all over the place. So none of them do. So I do think they run into that wall. I think it's pretty early in the semis or upper semis there against 100 Thieves, and they'll fall into lowers and see if they can make a run from there. I think Envy is set up to do really well in this event. I think they're able to handle Genji in that first round, and should they go up against Xset or FaZe in round two, I give them a big advantage in either of those matchups. And so I think, as this is going further into this tournament, what I would like to see is an Immortal Envy finals. I think for me, that would be the two best teams in the game right now. I think 100 Thieves is going to have a lot of opportunity to grow as they work Ethan into that lineup. But look, we're only getting one round of matches coming up here before our next show, so we'll know how this is starting to pan out as it goes a little bit deeper in. We'll only have finished quarters and lower round one before we chat next time. But I'm hoping for an Envy 100 Thieves final. To me, those are the two best teams outside of a Sentinels without Sinatraa type situation, right? Like 100 Thieves and Envy have both kind of proven themselves. Envy with the consistency. And look, crazy fact about Envy, Tim, I didn't know this. Crashies pointed out today on Twitter that his dad took his own life February 17th, like not that long ago. And he didn't bring it up to the public, which he has every right to do. And as fans, there's no way for us to know what he is going through as a player. And he came out and they dominated every game that he's played since then. And you could tell that he was emotional in his post, and that it looks like he's got a lot of support there at Envy. And you feel for him, man. Like, it gives you another rooting interest. Like, I couldn't imagine less than a month ago all of this happened. You've played in 3 officials since then, and y'all have dominated every one of them. You're headed into the biggest tournament of your life here for you and your team. And you have that weighing on your shoulders, just constantly having to think about that. So it's crazy that they're performing so well with that type of adversity. I think it makes me believe it's only going to make them a stronger team. Like, you have to be there for your guy when something like that happens. And it looks like they banded together. And I hope that continues to roll through this event, but a little bit more rooting interest there hearing a story like that.
Yeah, I had no. I mean,
yeah,
like, that's pretty incredible. That that, I guess, like you said, the fact that it didn't get out there or anything like that. I am riding high on Envy. I do think, especially now with Sentinels and their situation that they're in. I mean, I don't know if I'm 100% sold in on FaZe. They've just looked so shaky up until like their last couple matches. With 100 Thieves, though, I do think, like, I don't know. I feel like 100 Thieves is really good still. Like,
100 Thieves is really good, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I know, like, they look shaky in some matches and things like that. I almost think, though, that's just like a mental thing, like them playing with their food. Like, I think 100 Thieves could be that dominant team right now that we see in Valorant. Envy has that chance as well, though. So I would like to see them face off at some point in this event. I want to see Envy 100 Thieves.
They're like polar opposite, right? 100 Thieves is the marquee team in the sense of players. Nitro, Ethan, Hiko, like, they have names on that team that are known throughout esports, right? Like, everybody knows these guys. If you followed Counter-Strike, and now obviously if you follow, Valorant, you know who they are. They just have the big name guys and people that have performed well, like in their previous games or titles. Like, they've been really good, so there's no reason to believe that they wouldn't do it. Where Envy is like virtually the opposite, right? There are a bunch of names that maybe if you followed a particular esport closely, you knew who they were outside of FNS, right? But FNS is not known for being like an amazing player. He's known for having a brilliant mind, being a good IGL, but also being like mid-tier in terms of like NAIGLs, right? Like, he was never considered the guy or the best. He was always kind of on that next tier team that was trying to like make it or make that run. So they're just very opposite in what they bring to the table and how people recognize them. And I think that diversity amongst them makes it also an intriguing matchup, right? Like, Envy should not be the underdog in that matchup, but I think in most of their big games, they're looked at as the underdog. I think they recognize that too. I don't think that they're probably not getting the credit they deserve from like the fan base as a whole. I don't know why that would be, but again, probably just because of the names that are on that team. People got attracted to names that they follow. They necessarily don't have a ton of that.
I mean, I could see that. I mean, even here, like in their last couple of matchups, though, it's like they've beaten Sentinels twice, Immortals, Exit. You see the teams that they've beaten, and it's like, yeah, there's no reason to believe that Envy isn't the number 2 in the world, but it is odd. Like 100 Thieves is 5th in the rankings. Envy is number 2. Now it's close if you're going off the points on VLR.gg, but at the same time, like that's on paper. But in discussion, you just feel like 100 Thieves, though, is, I don't know. I feel like they can just be so dominant, like we saw at
winning
first
strike helps, right? Like
yeah,
you win
course.
first strike. That up until this point, that's been. Still, to me, first strike almost feels just as big as this, though. I don't look at them any different. Like if this was the only VCT Masters of the year, sure, I would say like this is like massive. But there's 4 of these, right? Like we're gonna see this 4 times run through, if I'm not mistaken. So, the first strike tournament truly felt like the real first really big event, and 100 Thieves came home with that trophy. So that's going to sit in the back of people's minds. Envy, however, has just been consistent for so long, and that's what people need to note is they have like consistently been really good. Like
won 9 straight so far.
Yeah, like that's crazy, and so we're missing some of the other big names, but for the most part, we did get our top 8, right? The only one out of the top 8 in the rankings that didn't make it was TSM, at number 3. But the rest of the top 8 that's in NA are your best teams that are there. Excited to see it play out. Like I think we have a chance for a solid event. The situation with Sentinels does take a little bit of a hit, but if you can have your big boys advance in this tournament and make it to the finals, it's going to be awesome.
Fun fact, Envy's 9-game winning streak is the longest active streak right now, at least in the top 140 world rankings.
That's crazy.
So let that sink in. I guess that's worth something. We do have the on-air talent, Anuj, and I have a public apology to make. And I'll admit when I'm wrong. I'm not above that. And this is to Banks, current GM of, what's the team? Alliance, EU. Current GM of Alliance. Also desk host for Counter-Strike, as you've seen him. Well, he was actually a Yikes of the Week because he mentioned, hey, why aren't I being looked at? They're ignoring me. They're not reaching out for me to host any Valorant events. And Anuj, we laughed at him. We laughed at his face saying, you idiot. It's because you work for a team. That's why they don't want you there. Well, we were proven wrong because on the desk here, they have Porter, who is not even a GM. She's a player. She's a professional player for Evil Geniuses. So apologies to Banks.
Potter, not Porter.
Porter is my dog's name. Potter. So apologies to Banks. Apparently, it's not because you're a GM. They just don't like you.
It probably still has to do with the fact that he's a GM. We've seen players come onto the analyst desk in like Counter-Strike events, right? Like their team's been eliminated and then one of them hops onto the desk the next day. So it's not unheard of for a player to be on the desk. And considering Evil Geniuses really hasn't like done much, she's probably looked at just as equally as a player as she is a caster at this point, because like she was a good Counter-Strike caster for a long time. More people probably still know her in that regard than they do as playing for Evil Geniuses right now. It's a little bit more normal for a player to do it. I still don't think I've seen a GM be on the desk. Like that would be a little bit more weird to me. So I thought about it after you and I talked about it briefly, and I was like, wait a minute, there's been players on the desk before in other esports, so it'd be hypocritical to say like, that's why. Maybe they don't like Banks too. That could still be part of it, right? Like maybe they don't like the guy. But either way, you don't see GMs on the desk. I've seen players on the desk, so not as weird. It's just the timing, I think, makes it that much worse because the Banks thing like just happened, and then Potter's announced on the on-air talent just a few weeks later. So maybe that's part of it and why it looks a little sus, but it is more common, I should say, for a player to hop onto a desk than management.
Friend of the show, Van Silly, he will be an analyst. Familiar faces that you've seen elsewhere. Sean Garris will be on the desk as a commentator, as well as DDK. Smix will be the interviewer. Again, for any up-and-coming casters out there, I know it's a hot topic of always talking about your pay. This is why you undercut. This is why you always have my permission, and I will never judge you, to undercut top talent. Because these are top talents coming over from CS and other esports to do Valorant. And you have people who have been working in Valorant since day one, building up a resume, and some of these guys are just kind of walking on over when the big tournaments roll in, saying, hey, you need top talent? I'm your guy. So I get it. If you need to undercut. I will not pass judgment. That being said, I do like this talent lineup.
I do too. Yeah, it's a good talent lineup. DDK is proven. Sean Gares, Vansili, Smix, like these people are very good at what they do. I enjoy them in their other esports that they're in, and so I'm happy with this talent lineup.
No complaints there. Anything else? I guess just to Nerd Street awarded all future events.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, they're going to get the rest of the events. They've done a good job, so
no complaints.
No complaints there. That's perfectly fine.
Don't fix what ain't broke, as they say.
Obviously, we'll touch on this again Wednesday and can kind of rate Sentinel's performance and who their fifth is at that point, and then obviously see how the rest of the gang did. But I think we're in for a good one.
Yeah, of course. And then you even have like all the other sides starting up as well. Like EU is starting up on the 12th, so they'll start up in a couple of days as well. So we'll keep an eye on it. No reason. I mean, did you want to say anything on EU? I have nothing. I got nothing to say on EU.
Nah, just watch and enjoy.
Go Guild Esports. That's what I have to say. Other than that, NA really though is shaping up to be a good event. So that will kick off again tomorrow afternoon by the time a lot of you are listening to this. March 11th. Okay, just to put a date on it.
Look, Tim and I will, I hate because I know we are worldwide. Okay, so it's important to know we are probably the most worldwide esports podcast that there is. So we will eventually start talking about the other scenes. I think when LAN comes into play. Right now, without LAN, it is difficult to follow those scenes because of the times that most of them play at. We're just not watching it, so I'm not going to BS you guys and start talking about it as if I know everything that's going on over there. Once we're on LAN, it'll be normal. It'll all be integrated. We'll be talking about all regions. We'll be talking about the best teams. But right now, just a little easier to focus on NA because those are the games we get to watch.
Yeah, well said. Well said. So we'll see what happens here. Keep everyone up to date on the Sinatraa drama going on here. And I'll just say one last thing on that, right? Just to make it clear, I am in no way trying to say that, I guess what am I trying to say here to not get in trouble, Anuj? I support her, right? I know some people on Twitter like to do this whole innocent until proven guilty BS thing. We've all learned that's kind of dumb, right? That's not really how it works in at least in the society realm of things. I like to err on the side of you always believe the victim, and then you can go into your investigation. If the investigation proves that, hey, things were said, things were done, but nothing erroneous, right? Then I guess as a society, we must accept that and move on. Now, if the investigations prove that, no, yeah, he's pretty messed up.
Shit crazy.
Yeah, he's not a good guy. Then again, so be it. Let him die off into the sunset.
You do got to listen to in whatever the situation may be. In this case, his story as well.
Of course,
or his side of it. In this case, he didn't give a side, right? His post to me was incredibly weak, and so you're not giving us much to go on other than saying you didn't do it. So now we're going to wait and see. Let's see what these investigations come out with. Suspending him was the right move. This doesn't need to be the topic for the next week and a half.
No.
I'm sure it will be.
That's what I'm saying. Really, this will be the last time I want to talk about it until we have results.
Yeah.
Because unless something juicy comes out.
Either more details or, long, release or whatever it may be, we'll obviously bring it up.
Because at this point, as newsmen, Anuj, this is just a he said, she said stuff right now. And then as more details come out, then we can report on that. Right now, public opinion aside, there's nothing, right?
If we were Fox and CNN, we would milk this out for like 6 episodes. Though.
I mean, for sure. Like if we wanted to say hot and spicy stuff, I mean, I'll just read the France tweet if you want. Like, we can do that. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, you need to listen to his side because she can I read the France tweet?
No.
It's so funny. It's just one of those like, look,
tweet it on our main account.
It's so I just love the fact that he was like, e-girls can be scary as a Twitch streamer. They'll debate and Photoshop everything. Not saying she is one, but she could be. Like, okay. What a not sorry post that was.
Dude has like managed to shove his foot in his own mouth several times. So a statement like that is not surprising from him.
Right. Like, come on, dude. Like,
the thing is, I almost get what he's trying to say. It's just worded so freaking poorly. Like classifying like e-girls as this group and things like that is all like wrong. But like there is like a little bit of sense to what he's saying, but it's worded so god awful.
Even if she is a quote unquote e-girl, okay? Listen, and I'm not connecting this dot to her, right? But just because a prostitute's a prostitute doesn't mean you can sexually assault them.
That's not how it works.
That's not how those aren't the rules. Like, hey, officer, she's a prostitute. Oh, well, why didn't you say so? Continue on sexually assaulting. That's
the only thing that he's saying that like kind of makes sense is like, yes, there have been instances where people have been falsely accused.
Yeah, which is fact.
In the back of your mind, it's probably natural for you, like some people to either have some doubt because they've seen people that they follow get burned in the past. So like, yes, some of that does happen, but when you got 9 pages of notes,
right, and screenshots and audio,
like this is probably not the one to like fall on the sword on if you're
like this one's false accusations are like a page, right? 9 pages. Okay, she wrote a short novel. All right, so there is VCT. All right, let's do a quick game-changing plan here, Anuj, because that conversation went on a lot longer than I thought. Good conversation, though. Good conversation. Let's save our interview with Jay for a future episode, because at this point, this will be like a 2.5 hour long episode. So let's save it. We will play it on a future episode. Again, though, if you really do, if you just are dying to hear it, check on our Twitter. We've retweeted it a few times if you really want to go listen to it now. If not, hang tight. We'll use it on another episode when we got nothing to talk about. But for now, we will put it on the back burner.
Yeah.
Let's get over to some e-news, because that is relevant, sponsored by Philly Esports. Our good friends at phillyesports.net. They host monthly events this month, March 20th. You got plenty of time to sign up. A 2v2 gunfight tournament, Call of Duty, Black Ops, Cold War, of course. Win cash prizes. I say this all the time, but they really are good dudes, because when LAN events going on, and even online events, they're not just your normal throwaway events. They treat it very professionally. They do player interviews in person. They do photography and everything like that. So, I always say if you're looking to get involved in esports in some way, if you're in the Philly area and they start doing LAN events again, hit them up, phillyesports.net. I'm sure if you tell them the Center Ring sent you, they would love to take on volunteers to help out with the event. Whether that be interviews, work on your photography, whatever, right? I'm sure they could find something to work your craft. So easy way to get your foot in the door and get some actual experience going on. So phillyesports.net. E-news in CS. Kenny S, we mentioned last week, is no longer on G2. Rumors were there for a hot minute that he might be thinking of Valorant. He put that to bed, though, as he even tweeted himself saying, no, not going to happen.
Sentinel's new fifth, calling it now.
Not a bad replacement. Yeah, it wasn't going to happen until that door opened, right? Oh, number 1 ranked team needs a 5th? Hello, I'm Kenny S. Heard of me? Need an opper? Why? That'd be awesome. That would be awesome. We did talk. Maybe he'll go international. So there's that. In COD, Toronto Ultra decided to bench Methods of all people. I don't understand that. He's one of their better players for the season thus far. Even from like a social media standpoint, like he gets people interested, and now you've benched him.
I mean, he's their best player. He's leading them in KD. He's leading them in overall rating. He's leading them on hardpoint, S&D, control. Like he's got the highest rating on all 3 of those. So I'm really confused by the move by Ultra to bench him. And like you said, he's also a great personality that it feels like to have on the team. We've had him on the show and had a really good conversation with him. So disappointing to see that. I'm confused by the move, honestly.
I guess we'll see. I don't even see. Something odd here is Methods have tweeted about it, but Toronto Ultra has no tweets about it.
I wonder if there's more to this story, but again, weird situation.
Yeah. So, but he actually tweeted saying that despite what I think of the situation I'm in and have decided to play challengers. So he is playing challengers with the team. So, I mean, he's going to continue playing, obviously, so that will keep him fresh. But, I mean, how do you not have the team?
It's just weird.
Very odd. Very, very odd. So there's that for you. Where was I? In League of Legends, or in MOBA news here, March 29th, mark your calendars. Wild Rift open beta starts. This is League of Legends for mobile. So, long time coming. So there's that. Double Lift also is returning back into the scene, signing again with TSM, but as a streamer.
It's probably a good little career move there.
I honestly thought he already was.
Yeah, I didn't realize once that contract ended, he was just gone.
Yeah, I thought like he was just always with the TSM at this point, but he is now. In other news, Myers Leonard, that is NBA player Myers Leonard, released from several sponsorships and partnership with FaZe. I think he was actually like an investor with them too, and they cut ties with them on FaZe Clan. Also suspended from his NBA team, Miami Heat, for anti-Semitic slurs that he said on stream while playing Warzone with TP.
So he came out and discussed this a little bit more in detail, using the excuse like he didn't know what the word meant. And okay, so I went back and heard the stream to see what he said, right? I didn't know that's what it meant either, to be honest with
Really?
you. I had no idea.
So
when he said it, I thought it was because he was just being rude to a female. That I thought that's what the issue was over, because he called her he also called her a dyke as well, right? Like
I have the audio. You want me to play the audio?
You shouldn't play the audio, no, because it is an anti-Semitic slur.
Well, I mean, if we're reporting the news,
I wouldn't play it. If you want to play it, you can.
He said something that rhymes with bike.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
I just thought it was like a homophobic slur or something, but I didn't know what it actually meant.
So this is the funny thing, right? So, as I said before, that I don't know any racial slurs towards Indian people, and you're like, well, I could tell you a few. I have definitely been called that myself. So,
I really had no clue.
As someone who is not Jewish but looks very Jewish and has Jew in their last name, I have been called that. So I knew what it meant. But his reaction afterwards, I don't believe that. he definitely knew. Look, he might have not meant what it meant, but he definitely knew he said something he shouldn't. Because right after he said it, he was like, anyways,
like he got super heated and said something, and then he's like, oh crap.
And I think that would have I would have believed him more. Like, look, because I was also a victim of this as well. So You know what? I take that back. I totally believe that he didn't know that, because I definitely one time said something to a friend and he looked at me like I just murdered someone. And he was like, do you know what word you just said? I was like, yeah. And he's like, do you know what that word means? I was like, apparently not. With the way you're questioning me, I don't think so. So we all live and learn. Live and learn. That's what I say. And Great Television leads a $40 million funding round for Envy Gaming. So Envy Gaming getting to add to that new HQ that we will eventually go to.
Yeah.
So there you have it. There is E-News presented by Philly Esports. And there is episode 312. It's done. It's in the books. Thank you so much for listening or skipping around or listening to the whole thing. Regardless, we love you all the same. We will be back Wednesday night to record. It is Wednesday night. We'll be back Sunday night to record Monday's episode. Talk some VCT. I don't know. Maybe update Sinatraa stuff if there's something there. I don't know. We'll figure it out. If you play WoW, hit us up in Discord. Looking for people now with the new patch. We got Valor. Okay, new farming system. Hit us up. We're looking for people to run Mythics with. If we can get rated BGs going, we'll get a 10-man or at least something going on. Would love to do that a little more here and there with listeners. So if you play WoW on the Horde side, hit us up. Join us on Twitter at The Center Ring. Join our Discord. Become a Patreon if you feel so. We would love it. Thank you for the support to all of our Patreons as well. But until then, I'm Tim for Anuj. We'll see ya.